Hey, Margaret. How are you, honey? My alarm's going to go off in 1 minute. I have to add alarms for everything lately. Just never know. I forget things, and there it is. It's actually for Bill's medicine. Hey, Do. It worked tonight. Woohoo! So, welcome back to another Mystery Card Monday. Tonight's card's pretty easy. It does have a lot of pieces. I know the list isn't that long, but when we start cutting things up, our pieces multiply. Let me just see what here it is. Just want to get my trimmer. So, if you remember from the first clue, and I think I'm still right. Yep. I said grab a piece of cardstock, your favorite color, 8.5 by 11. Oops, I just dropped some of my stuff. So I chose petal pink. And what you're going to do with this the 8.5 by 11, I want you to cut it into two pieces that measure 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, so we're gonna do two cards. This first clue is for two cards. So we'll have two 8.5 by 5.5 pieces of paper, and of course, I want you to score it at 4.25. All right, so we'll have two card bases, and I am actually going to do one card portrait and one card landscape, so you can see, hey Sheila, so you can see how it looks both ways. Okay, then we needed two pieces of coordinating cardstock measuring 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and I chose Calypso Coral, and this is actually going to be the piece for the front of the card. All right, and I'm just going to check this. It looks like I may have cut it just a hair too big. So thank goodness for our trimmers. My trimmer is full of paper. I've been, no, not really. It's about right. I've been working on Thursday's cards. That's what I was doing today. All right, so these are going to be the matte layers. Okay, so we have Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. Next, I wanted you to get two pieces of, or a piece of designer series paper, and I should have said two, 5.25 by 4. And let me just grab a random piece. And it's not coordinated, but I want to just show you how to cut it. All right, so we need a piece of designer series paper that's 5.25 by 4. And this camera still doesn't look right. Looking at it, it looks odd. Okay? And what you're going to do with this piece of designer series paper, the 4-inch side, you're going to cut it in half at 2. All right, so now you have two pieces. And let me just check to make sure. I forgot to write it down. What is this? 5.25. So I think it's 2 1/8 is. Let's just check. Nope, that's not right. I just want to check to make sure I give you the right. I forgot to write it down, of course. So it's 5 1/4, right? Yep. 2 1/2 is 5. Okay, 2 5/8. So you're going to take your two pieces that now is 5 1/4 by 2, and you're going to cut this one in half, and it should be 2 5/8. And it is. All right. So now our 5 1/4 by 4, we have 4 little pieces that measure 2 by 2 5/8. Okay. And once you have your pieces, if they are directional, you're going to take your two pieces, we'll say with the dots on the top, and then you're going to take the other two pieces and turn it completely around. All right, so you'll have your two designs facing you. And at that point, I just want to check and make sure again that we have these correct. I want you to cut them from the top right corner to the bottom left corner. All right, so I'm just going to lay them in the and put the points in the track of the trimmer and cut it in half. Okay, so now we have our triangles. And hopefully I'm going to do this right. And this one I'm going to do exactly the same way. So we're cutting them on the diagonal to give us some more pieces. Okay, so we had our rectangle and we cut it top right to bottom left. So now we have all our little pieces for our designer series paper. And the paper I used tonight is the inked botanicals. And I have it for the green side and this rust color side. Let me just make sure I have all my pieces here. Here's another one. And here's another one. So I have that for one card. And then for the other card, I used lighter colors. And this actually was a little bit crazier because the paper is actually directional. All right. So that's for one card. This is the second card. Then I wanted you to, let me just get a 2x2 piece of white cardstock, of colored cardstock for a mat, and then basic white 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. I actually, and I'm looking at this here, and I think I'm going to have to do this again. Check it out. I did very vanilla, and then I did basic white on the inside. So let me just put these away And I'm going to do 5 1/4 by 4 in Berry Vanilla. I'll just quick cut my paper. This way it'll give you a chance to catch up. All right, there we go. All right, so now I have my, so we wanted a 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 basic white or Very Vanilla, and I did Very Vanilla. And then a matte 2 by 2 for your sentiment. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use this small little piece on this mat for one card. I think I'll do it on this one. And then for my other card, I actually cut the frame from the Irresistible Blooms and then used a 2 3/8 punch for the circle. And that one I'm going to use on the other card. And then we have 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside. And again, I chose Very Vanilla. And then we have our 5 1/4 by 1/2, 5 1/4 by 3/8. And then I have it the same for the other one. I just have to make sure I use. Okay, so that is all of our pieces, just like putting a puzzle together. I feel like I'm always creating cards that need puzzle pieces. So I'm just going to pull my mats in. I'm going to put my card bases. Just give me a second. I'm going to turn my fan on because it's warm in here tonight, although it's only 79 degrees out. It's just really warm for some reason. Okay, so now we are going to create our card fronts. Let's turn that over. And I am going to start with my greens and my Calypso coral. What we want to do is lay these pieces, and you want to get them so they are laid out and you have the same amount of space around the edges and also between each piece. And what you have to do is finagle these pieces so they fit. All right. So, and we're going to go one color, this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to alternate my colors so it looks like a quilt. You don't have to do yours that way. That's just how I decided to do mine. So I am going to start with this piece. And I am going to lay this right here on the front of the card. And that's my starting piece. Just want to make sure it is on there and it's straight. All right, so there's my starting piece. And just so I lay these out properly, I am just going to lay them in here so I know my pieces are cut the right way. This one has to be green. And this one needs to be Calypso coral. And then that one needs to be green. Okay, so it's just take. Oh, that's good. Yes, I'm going to have all the directions tomorrow. All right. Okay, so here's my base piece. Now I'm going to take the next color. And I am going to add my glue, and I'm going to line it up with this piece here, making sure I have it on there straight, and glue it down. All right, so that's 2. Go to our next piece, and we are just creating a pinwheel on the front of the card. So let's get this one. We want to keep a space in between. We want to keep a space along the edge. And we're just going to continue this all the way around, alternating your colors or your designs. If you want to use the same colors, that's perfectly fine. But we are going to get these and line them up. So everybody have a good day today. Ours was a little busy. Sheba is just a crazy girl. So we headed to the store. She loves getting marrow bones. So we go to the butcher in our local grocery store. It's actually called Oregon Dairy. And they have a cow farm. So they butcher their own cows and chickens. And they cut up and freeze the bone. Hey, Karen. Oh, no. So we went and got her some marrow bones. And, oh, she just loves them. All right, so here's the first one. Now I'm going to take the second one. If you decide that you want to do it portrait. Now, I have to be careful because my designer series paper now is directional. So I have to watch to make sure that I lay my paper down in the right direction, okay? And I also have to make sure I have the correct layout. So we'll start with this piece because this looks like it should be there. And then I need one like that. So I'm going to lay them out again because I just want to make sure that I'm doing it properly. Where the designer series paper, like I said, is directional, I have to make sure that I put them on here right. All right. So like I said, it's just like a puzzle. All right. So now I need this piece here headed in that direction. And then I need this one headed in that direction. And then my last piece should be this one here and this one here. So it did work out perfectly. Okay. Yeah, poor little baby. I think she's probably a little bit of both. She was playing so cute today too. All right, so now we can lay these out. And we're going to do the same exact thing. You just want to get these on here as straight as you can. I'm just going to there we go. Uh-oh, my phone is dinging. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Alright. Okay, so we're just laying it out the same exact way we laid out the other card, but we're going in a different direction. Let's get this one. And then two more. Now this card is a little bit more time consuming, but it is great for those scraps of DSP that we have left over. Because as long as you have a piece that's 2 5/8 by 2, you can just use a variety of designer series paper. Oh, I'm glad you got it, Karen. I know you had mentioned that you had loved that paper, so I figured I'd send it to you. All right, so here are the two layouts. Now I'm just going to adhere this to the front of my card. And like I said, this is the Inked Botanicals. I haven't really even used this stamp set and punches yet. They're pretty interesting punches. This week, on Thursday, I'm going to use this stamp set, Sweet and Precious, only because I just love those giraffes. We'll have to do a little coloring, but I just think they're so cute. So we're going to do something with them guys. And I have a lot of paper, designer series paper, that will go perfect with that set. It's retired, but you're welcome, honey. All right, so there are the fronts to our two cards. Now this ring is a little bit tough to pop up because the areas are so tiny. So I am actually just going to put some dots of glue behind it. And put it on so it is right in the center of the card. Okay. Now this one, I actually, these are two retired punches. I am actually going to pop this one up. Let's see where my dimensionals disappeared to. Here they are. So let's just pop this one up on the front of the card. Just like that. All right, so there is our sentiments. Let's put these aside. I'm going to use the go-to greetings. And let's see, does Just a Note have... I don't think it's going to fit. Will not fit. So let's just use our little hello. because I don't think that one will fit either. So we'll just use hello. And I'll grab some Calypso Coral ink. Yes, they're perfect for a random designer series paper. As long as the colors match, it's perfect for all those little scraps. You know, when you cut your paper and you have just little strips, as long as they're 2 5/8. All right, so let's just put hello right in the center. What are we going to add to this, though? It looks so bare, doesn't it? Let's see. Let's pull the inked botanical out. Where is it? Textured floral. Inked and tiled. It's the ink and tiled stamp set. And I don't want too much. So let's do this flower. And I'll get something. Let's see if I can get this stamped off and it's nice and light. So this is the stamp set that actually goes with this paper. I think I used the flowers on a card already, but that's about it. So let's just see if we can get this light. All right, we can get it light. Let's ink it up. I'm going to stamp it, and then we'll put this just so it fills up some of that space. I just don't like lots of white space, or in this case, very vanilla space. So let's just add some dimensionals. And we'll add this right to the front of the card. I don't even think I have any ribbon to match. All right, so let's put that aside for a second and we'll grab our circle. And I think for this one, I will put, let's do thank you. It's time for my blocks to be cleaned. And I'll do this one in Memento, but let's add this flower. And we'll do it a little darker. We'll add it just like that. And grab our Memento. Stamp our thank you. Let's grab some gold gems. We're going to pop this up, but we'll take some gold gems and add it to this little circles going around on this frame. We'll pop this up. sure it's on there straight. Let me see if I have any ribbon over here. Petal pink. There we go. I have some petal pink ribbon. So let's just tie a quick bow. I can actually add this to both of them. I don't know about you, but I think sometimes when your card is plain, adding a bow changes it completely. Where I don't have any images and I'm just relying on my designer series paper. They do, right? Do. Just very, very easy, plain cards. I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with, because I love designer series paper. I always have so much left over that retires that I never get a chance to use. My room is full of designer series paper. All right, so there is just adding that little bow to take up some of the space. And let's do it again on this one. And so if anybody wants to know, you just hold this piece between your thumb and your pointer, and as you can see, I'm full of ink again. And we're going to take this tail and wrap it around our fingers, lift your thumb, and hold that piece down. And you want to keep that thumb there to hold it so it's taut. You're going to take this tail, go between your fingers, and you want to make sure that it stays straight and doesn't twist. And then you're going to take the end of this tail. Hey, Carol. Aww. Well, welcome. I'm glad you were able to make it. So you're going to go through your fingers, and then you can see where it crosses. You're going to take this tail and go back through your fingers underneath this piece. So now the tail is back in the front. You're going to take this tail and the loop that you've created, you're going to put it into the left side of the loop and out the right side of the loop. Just like that. So now you have like a knot, and you're going to pull it and get it nice and tight. As tight as you can get that knot, it will make your two loops nice and puffy. And then we got to just get them off our fingers. Okay. Hold your tails down so you can cut those tails. And you can straighten your loops out. And once we get it on the card, we can puff it up. And there's our bow. All right, let me just grab a glue dot here. And the mystery of the glue dots not sticking, I think it was the humidity that was in my room. All right, so just adding that little bow changes the whole look, right? Aw, thanks, guys. You guys are great. So, for the inside, sorry, had to get a drink. It's warm in here. We're going to take those I think it was 5 1/4 by 4 pieces, and our 5 1/4 by 1/2, 5 1/4 by 1/3 of 3/8, sorry. And I have the same for the other. Mine are a little longer because I'm going to trim them. But for the card that is portrait, I'm just going to run a bead of glue. And I'm going to lay down my cardstock, and as long as your end is straight, you can push it right down to your table so it's even, and it'll be on your card straight. You'll have a nice border. All right. Going to do the same thing to the DSP. So we're just going to run a line down the center, add our designer series paper. I'm just going to stand it up and push that designer series paper down to the table so it's flush at the end. And then we have our piece. I'm going to let that dry a minute so I can cut it. This one we're going to do portrait, so we have to make sure. I mean, I could always turn it, no big deal, but you know what happens sometimes. How many times have I done the inside in the wrong direction? All right, so there's that. And then we're just gonna So did anybody see the Lori Vallow sentencing today? And she got, I believe, it ended up being 6 life terms. So, all right, so I'm just trimming off the edge so it'll fit on the inside of my card. Looks like I put it in the ink. So let's add some glue. Now, for some reason, the glue does not show through on the very vanilla. All right, so there's one. Puff up that bow. And then let's just grab this. And then grab our second card. This time we can put it either at the bottom or at the top. I'm going to put it at the bottom. And if I would have thought, look, I got it on this one too. This designer series paper should have been the other way, but that's okay. All right, so there are the mystery cards for tonight. Just really quick and easy. Oh, thanks, Carol. Oh, did you see it on the news? Yeah, we watched it. It was just devastating. We didn't watch the trial, but we did watch the sentencing today. So here are the cards. I will post the blog with all the directions tomorrow. Make sure you pop your card that you make into the mystery card group. Thanks, Sheila. And I will pick a random winner at the end of the week. Thank you, and thanks for joining. Hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.